Hello internet friends, my name is Catherine and I'm the human behind Creation Miss Couture. And today what we're going to do is working on a sock blank. I don't usually work with those, so today what we're going to do, since I received a few new colors from Prochem, we are going to be sort of swatching it on the sock blank. It is 50, so it is a double knit sock blank, which means that once you unravel the sock blank, you have to, Zoe, move. You will have 2 skeins of 50 grams sock weight yarn, which is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So let's get into this. Hello friends. Okay, so what I'm going to do is using this sock blank, I'm going to be testing new colors that I got from chemical, like from Pro Chemical and Dye. So I'm going to be working with the Peach Blossom, I have Pink Sand, and I have Apricot, and I have Grasshopper. So why am I going to do it on this sock blank? Because I don't know, I just think I have a better surface to do those swatches and we'll have a good idea. So this sock blank is double knit, meaning that once you unravel all your blank, you will have 2 skeins of 50 gram each of sock weight yarn. I believe it's 75, 20, and 25%. So 75 superwash merino and 25% nylon. I will double check that and let you know. So I'm going to be using my strainer so the color can spread a little bit more, and I'll be able to see if those dyes have a tendency to go clumpy, sort of. Anyways, I understand what I mean. So I'm just going to go grab my respirator because we do not want to breathe those acids.
Okay, and yeah, so let's start with apricot. We're not going to be using a whole lot, just a tiny bit, because I don't know how potent it is. Okay, so we don't have a whole lot of clump, which is nice, and it's very orange for now. However, we do know that we need to make sure that it is dry before we draw any conclusion. I'll go in with the grasshopper. Which will be green, and it's so interesting to see how different the dye in the dry form versus in the water looks like. Let's try to avoid accident. And I chose those colors together because I still want the color to look nice. Okay, I need to clean this up a tiny bit, and this is going to be a problem. I hope not. So we're doing it in a transition motion, so we will have secondary colors created. Oh, I should probably turn on the heat right now. Okay, that's better. I already have citric acid in it as well. Okay, now we're going in with the pink sand. And you can see that when I apply, where I put the first little bit of acid, we have, not acid, dry powder, we have a little clump of color there, which makes sense because this is where we have the first. Okay. Very curious to see how it's going to turn out. And now we're going to be adding, the peach blossom. Maybe I shouldn't have done this in that specific order. Well, I guess it's too late. Okay. Now
I can remove my respirator. Okay, so I think it's going to be very interesting to see the transition between the pink sand and the peach blossom. I don't know. That's going to be an interesting result, that's for sure. And you can see here the clump is starting to slowly like sink into the. I think I'm going to be adding a little bit more of the uppercut over there because I still have quite a bit of white space. And I don't necessarily mind negative space, but I don't know. Let's just add a tiny bit more. Okay, just so we have a little bit of coverage over there. Because I still want it to look pretty, you know. And I'm going to be very curious to see if the line on the sides with the resist will have more or less. Okay, we'll see that. Hmm, that's going to be interesting. So we're going to have speckles for the grasshopper, that's for sure. Oh boy, I think I put too much water in this, so it won't be like an efficient swatch thing because of the fact I had too much water, that's for sure. But it's going to be very pretty no matter what, and it will still give us a little idea of what it would look like. So, and I find it very fascinating that we have so many so far orange specks over. Oh, I have. Is it hair? No, it is dye. Okay. So many orange speckles. I don't know if we're going to be keeping them, but because sometimes when we don't have heat or anything, well, not as much heat as what we would like, it like we can't tell for sure if the speckles will stay or not. So we shall see. Okay, we're going to let this cook for half an hour and then we'll wash it and we'll wait for it to dry overnight and see the final result tomorrow. All right, see you in a bit. Okie dokie, let's look at this. So this is looking good, and I think we're going to keep a lot of those orange speckles. I'm kind of happy with this. Nice. And I can already see that we're going to have some very pastel along this line, simply due to the fact there was a lot of resist. But that's okay. That's part of the charm of a blank. I'm very happy. So there's no dye left. We're going to let this cool down, and after that we'll be able to wash it off for any excess dye in here. I'm very tempted to keep this blank. I don't know. We shall see. Okay, see you in a bit. So I'm not necessarily expecting any bleeding with this specific blank. However, sometimes when you're speckling, there is little clumps of dry powder that stays. So this is also one of those reasons why you need to make sure that you're washing off your skeins or your sock blanks before doing anything else with it, because those clumps will come later and just be a little pain in the butt. So this is what I'm trying to avoid when I'm cleaning up those. So what we're going to do now is put it in a spin dryer and let this dry overnight, and I will see you with the final result in a second. And here's the final result of the sock blank we dyed earlier. And you can see here it's starting to unravel a little bit, which is kind of funny. So here it was the side with the apricot, and the main reason why I wanted to try it out this way is because of the way it's spread through this section. Well, the way it will spread, we will see different shades of the same color. So here you can see the grasshopper is extremely pigmented because we had like a big splotch, but you can see how it faded over here, and over there, and it will mix with other colors. So you can start to understand how having a lower depth of shade, lower like stock solution will change the final result for what you're going for. So it will give you an idea of how pale it can go, how pastel, and how dark, because this is very dark. So you know that if you're going closer to a 2% stock solution, you will have something very close to this very beautiful dark green over there. And it's the same idea with the apricot and the pink sand. And also it gives you an idea of how it breaks. Because here the pink sand broke a whole lot. So we don't have as much of a nice blend than we would have with the other colors, because like here you can see that the apricot, we have a nice blend. Yes, there is some breakage. However, we were able to have a nice color as well. And same thing with the peach. It did break a little bit, but not as much as the pink sand. So it's a good idea to understand how the color might break if you're speckling with it. So I know now the pink sand from Procam will most likely break. So this is already something interesting to understand how it would go. And I kind of really like this blank, this Suck blank. It's really nice. It's very interesting. I would be very curious to see once it's knit up what, like, reknit, I guess, into either a pair of socks or a cowl or something like that, what it would look like. Because don't forget that it is a double knit, which means that you will have 2 skeins of 50 grams once it's unraveled. So that was the final result. Oh, hi Zoe. So thanks for watching. If you've liked the video, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next one very soon. Bye!